I'm Marissa, and this is the first official video for our channel. And I've been wanting to make this video for a few weeks, but I kept waiting for my life to be perfect to make it. Where the boat, my home, looked clean, I have makeup on, the lighting is just right, etc. I just kept waiting, and things kept coming up and getting in the way. Then I realized my life's not perfect. And if I wait until my life is perfect, then I'm never going to make these videos. You see all these YouTube videos edited to make everything look beautiful and perfect, but our life is not a YouTube video in any sense of the word. So here I am. I put some makeup on. I actually put a shirt on and showered. But my home is messy and I may not always be able to look great. But if I want to show you what it's like to be a liveaboard, then this is what the videos are going to be like. Currently, my boat looks like a complete disaster. We have stuff on the couch. We have dinner cooking and things left over from dinner. There's stuff all over the desk. And, you know, it's like this because whenever we went sailing, we had stuff fall over, we had things break, so now we need to fix them. So we have the windlass disassembled on the couch across from me. We went to the park, so we have our backpack and towels out still because we were just exhausted whenever we came back. But we only have, 500 square feet or less of living space, probably much less than that. It's hard to work around sometimes, and it's not always going to be glamorous, but this is how we live right now. It's not the only way to do it. I'm sure other people with more money, time, discipline, whatever, might be able to make things look better. But for now, this is what I can do, and this is what it's going to be. Thank you for hanging in there with me, but for now, I want to tell you about our maiden voyage. This past week, we were able to take Classea out on our maiden voyage, finally. See it. That is the Brooklyn Bridge, right there. And over there, that tower is the World Trade Center Freedom Tower. We're sailing right toward it. The first day we took her out, we were able to reach up to 6 knots. We heeled over quite a bit, which means the boat was leaning. Since we have a monohull instead of a catamaran with 2, we actually move whenever we're in the waves. So our boat tilts to the side. And of course, whenever you're a liveaboard, you generally have more stuff out and about than if you were a weekend sailor or a constant sailor. So going back below deck after our sail was an adventure in itself, just because we got to learn about everything we didn't secure properly. Luckily, the only major issues that we had were in the bathroom and in our closets. So we did a pretty good job of securing everything. Unlike what you see right now, our boat was much cleaner. The next day, we sailed out, and the winds weren't at a good angle for us to sail very quickly. One thing that blows everyone's mind when they first hear about sailing, mine included, is that you can sail into the wind. So wind's coming at you and you're going forward. The reason this happens is because sails act similar to airplane wings and create lift that generates forward movement. While airplane wings are horizontal, which lifts them into the sky, the sails are vertical and move the boat through the water. Now, why doesn't the boat get pushed over by the wind? There is a counteracting force applied by the water to the keel. The keel is essentially a wing on the hull of the boat that generates a force in the opposite direction of the sails. Because there are 2 equal forces applied toward the boat from the wind and water, the boat moves forward. For a more thorough explanation, check out the video in the link below. However, you can't sail directly into the wind. You have to sail at an angle, which means then you have to zigzag in order to get anywhere, and it essentially doubles the distance that you have to travel to get to the point where you want to be. So because of this, we anchored at a different location than what we planned and had some struggles with the anchoring. Describe your first night at anchor.
It was a little rough. We need to get better at anchoring. We kept going, kept getting broadsided by the swell, so it was very rolly. Other than that, I slept okay. In and out all night, but slept okay.
If any sailors know what might be causing this, please let us know in the comments. We know we could get a second anchor at the stern to help keep the angle that we want, but we'd like to know if there's anything else we can do to help encourage the boat to line properly with the waves and the wind. During our multiple attempts to angle the boat, the windlass also stopped working. So the windlass is a electrical winch that pulls the anchor chain and anchor up for us. But because that broke, Martin ended up having to lift and drop the anchor by hand while I was at the helm, so at the wheel, and that definitely compounded into a more stressful learning moment, as I call it. The night was not necessarily a restful one, unfortunately. We had our first night out at anchor, and it went pretty well. We had some really relaxing moments, but then we also had some learning moments, is what we'll call them. And we had a rough night's sleep just because it's a new experience and a new, new sensation, new things that could go wrong that we haven't experienced before. And so I had a nightmare that there was a boat thief getting into the boat, and a bad dream about our electronics going out, and then Martin had dreams about us hitting rocks or going through trees. So it was a rough night just because there were so many new things, so many things to stress about. Our anchor alarm went off at night, but we set it just, it was too small of an alarm, I guess, because we had 70 or 80 feet of road out, but whenever that's in a circle and you're pivoting around that point, and that 80 is then a radius, not a diameter, so you just set it a little low. But she did stay anchored. It was just a little rough. After looking back on our venture, though, I realized that these rough nights and learning moments are all just growing pains. We had similar nightmares when we first moved onto the boat as a home. Is all of this easy? Definitely not. But do we still like it? Yes. Of course we do. We don't necessarily have the money to take personal lessons on our own boat, to learn it, or to outfit it with all the new cool gear, but we are still doing it. We're still living life and figuring things out as we go. We were so nervous about taking her out for the first time, but we did it anyway. We had to conquer that fear to get out there. And now, after only 3 days of sailing her, we can back her into the slip, hold her position while waiting for bridges, navigate our very shallow channel, and sail her several miles. I have had very little boat handling experience. I've been on boats. I love the water. My degree is in marine biology. My husband's is in marine science. We're ocean people. But I have not actually handled a boat very often. And I was able to do all of this. I'm the helmsman because I apparently have the gentle touch to be able to back her into her spot and hold her position while waiting for a bridge. So I just want to encourage you, if you have a dream, go for it. Even if it doesn't look like all the other YouTube videos out there. As I was saying earlier, my life is not a YouTube video. But that's real life. It's what's actually happening. So don't let your expectations of what something should be prevent you from experiencing what it actually is and actually doing it. Like I was letting myself do. It's amazing how the advice you give is exactly what you needed. So yeah, go out there and do it. Do whatever it is that makes you nervous. That's good experience. Remember, learning moments. That's anything, whenever it's frustrating, that's what it is. It's just a learning moment. So go out there and have your adventure and stay classy. For the concerned sailors out there, we did get our end mast furling fixed.